Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Shadma Bandhu Mui Savadanamati Bandhu Mui Savadhanamati Jahara prasade bhai bhava turiya Jahara prasade bhai bhava turiya Krishna prapti hoy jahati Krishna prapti hoy jahati Guru mukha padma vakya chititi koriya kya Guru mukha padma vakya tititi koriya kya Anakori ho mani asha Anakori ho mani asha Shri Guru Charani Rati Se Utama Gati Shri Guru Charani Rati Se Utama Gati Ji Prasadi Puri Sarvasha Ji Prasadi Puri Sarvasha Ji Prasadi Puri Sarvasha Chakudan dilo jai jambi jambi Prabhu Shri Chakudan dilo jai jambi jambi Prabhu Shri Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito Prema Bhakti Jaha Hoite Avirya Vinasharyate Prema Bhakti Jaha Hoite Avirya Vinasharyate Videgai Jahara Charito Videgai Jahara Charito Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adhama Janara Bandhu Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adhama Janara Bandhu Alukana Lukira Jivana Lokana Lukira Jivana Prabhupada Lukira Jivana Srila Prabhupada Lukira Jivana Aha Prabhu Kurudoya Deho More Parachaya Aha Prabhu Kurudoya Deho More Parachaya Iveja Kutu Tribhuvana Iveja Kutu Tribhuvana Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adhama Janara Bandhu Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adhama Janara Bandhu Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Lokana Lukira Divana Lokana Lukira Divana Ha ha Prabhu Guru Doya Deho More Padachaya Ha ha Prabhu Guru Doya Deho More Padachaya Iveja Kutu Tribhuvana Iveja Kutu Tribhuvana Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Aha Prabhu Gurudoya Deho More Padachaya 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 Iveja Kutu Tribhuvana Iveja Kutu Tribhuvana Ha ha Prabhu Gurudoya Deho More Padachaya Prabhu Gurudoya Ha Prabhu Gurudoya Deho More Padachaya Ye Vijay Gushodeva Bana Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jayo Jayo Prabhupada 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 Jayo Jayo Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jayo Jayo Prabhupada 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 Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namah Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namaste Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namaste Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namaste Gauravani Pracharine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Radha Srivasadi Gaura Namaste Nrsimhaya Namaste Nrsimhaya Namaste Nrsimhaya Ralada Lada Daini Ralada Lada Daini Hiranyakashipu Hiranyakashipu Shilatam Kanakalaye Shilatam Kanakalaye Ito Nrsimho Paratu Nrsimho Ito Nrsimho Yato Yato Yamitatu Nrsimho Vahir Nrsimho Hridaye Nrsimho Nrsimhamadin Sharanam Prapade Nrsimhamadin Sharanam Prapade Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuta Shlingam Lalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubhingam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Avagara Kama Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuta Sringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubhingam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Ketavadrita Narahare Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Ketavadrita Jaya Jagadisha Bolo Jaya Jagadish, Jaya Jagadish, Jaya Jagadish Hare. Jaya Jagadish, Jaya Jagadish, Jaya Jagadish Hare. Jaya Jagadish. Jaya Nrsimhadev, 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 Jaya Nrsimhadev. Jaya Nrsimhadev, 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 Jaya Nrsimhadev. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Oh Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Nrsimhadeva, 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 Jaya Nrsimhadeva. Jaya Nrsimhadeva, 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 Jaya Nrsimhadeva. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Oh, Nitai, 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 Gauranga, Nitai, 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 Gauranga. 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 Nitai, Gauranga, Jaya, Nitai, Gauranga. Nitai, Gauranga, Jaya, Nitai, Gauranga. Nitai, 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 Gauranga. Nitai, Gaura, Haribo, 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 Haribo. Shama Sundar Radha, Shama Sundar Radhe. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Nrsimhadev, 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 Jaya Nrsimhadev. Nrsimhadeva Bhagavan ki jai. Bhakta Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Premanande. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahans Parivradya Kacharya Sutra Sata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prince Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinatha Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana ki jai. Ganga Mai ki jai. Jamuna Mai ki jai. Srimati Tulasi Devi Maharani ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Samavita Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaura Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. Nrsimhadeva Bhagavam ki jai, Bhakta Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Gaura Premanande. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gaura.
Hare Krishna, welcome everyone, and all our guests. I see many guests here today. Thank you all for coming. And Bhaktivedanta Academy is here. Hare Krishna. While everyone's sitting down, I'll just make a few announcements. Right now, we're going to have class with B.V. Madhava Swami, who's visiting us, and he'll give the class today. That'll be followed by Abhishek of Lord Nrsimhadeva by the temple pujaris. If anyone sitting in class would like to make the Lord's fruit garlands for his Abhishek, you can go into the pujari room and see Ramanya Prabhu, and he has the whole setup, and you can bring it in the temple room and make them during class. And then after Abhishek, of course, many people have to go to work and about their business for the day, but we'll meet again for the 4:15 Artik. There will be bhajans in the temple room throughout the day, so if you are here and able to come, please come in and chant for the pleasure of the Lord. And then at 5 o'clock, the Bhakti Kalalaya Dance Academy will perform. That's at 5 o'clock in the temple room for the pleasure of Lord Nrsimhadeva. So we hope many of you can be here for that and support these very beautiful young dancers. And I heard that Lord Nrsimhadeva himself is coming to see this dance performance. Where's Shanti? Shantipur. Is Lord Nrsimhadeva coming to see the dance performance today? Really? I heard you were arranging it before. Okay, we'll talk right after announcements. Anyway, for sure the dancing is happening. So that's going to be wonderful. At 5:45, we have a homa outside at the Yagyasala area, and that's for the protection of all the devotees of New Raman Reti. So please come for the homa if you possibly can. At 6:30, there's Artik and a Maha Kirtan, and then that will be followed by Mahaprasadam feast. There is kitchen cut up to do if we are to have a Mahaprasadam feast. Can I see the hands of anyone who could come in the kitchen right now to help? 1, 2, need about 6, 3. Okay, I've got 3. Anybody else can come? I'm not to you. I know you'd love to come. Pretty soon, though, you'll be coming. Who else can come in the kitchen and help cut up? Tommy Lily, okay. Hari Parayan is coming in. Who else? He's in his clothes, ready to go to school. Okay, so we got some in there. Thank you very much. If you can't help to cut up the feast, you can help serve the feast. And you can help clean up tonight, too. There's other things to do. I want to mention, you may notice that Lord Nrsimhadeva is garlanded with a beautiful garland of these lovely silver Lakshmi Nrsimha Yantra medallions. We were gifted 24 of these medallions by Prahlad Nrsimha Das from Mayapur, and he would like to donate them to our Goshala here in New Raman Reti. So we garlanded the Lord with these beautiful yantras, and they're encircled by the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and they're embossed with beautiful, beautiful, finely detailed picture of Lord Nrsimhadeva. You wear it like a kavacha. It's like for protection, and since it's a Lakshmi Nrsimha, prosperity also. So this is made of special German silver, which doesn't tarnish, and we have a limited supply. We will be giving them to anyone who can donate 2 square feet to our Goshala program today. Lakshmi Moni Prabhu will be outside at a table during the festival time in the afternoon, and she'll have them there. So if you can donate at least 2 square feet today to the Goshala, then you can get one of these beautiful yantras. All right, so I'm very happy to have B.V. Madhava Swami here, and he will be giving our class this morning.
Break it. Break it. Try to proper. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavala Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yasodanandana Brajanarandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Madhava Kunja Bihari Sarva Shashta Dipiyusha Sarva Vedika Satpala Sarva Siddhanta Ratnadya Sarva Lokika Trika Prada Sarva Bhagavata Prana Srimad Bhagavatam Prabhu Kali Dvamturata Ditya Sri Krishna Parivartata Paramananda Pataya Prema Varshaksharayate Sarvata Sarvasevyaya Sri Krishnaya Namostate Madeka Bandha Mad Samgyana Mad Gurur Mad Mahadanam Mad Nistaraka Mad Bhagya Madananda Namostute Asadu Sarudatayan Atinitru Chataraka Hanamo Chakadachanamam Premra Rutkantaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya This is May 13th of 2014 in Alachua, Nrsimha Chaturdashi. This is Prahlad Maharaj's verse. 5th Canto, Chapter 18, verse 9. The residents of Hare Varsha offer prayers to the Lord. Svastastu Vishvasya Kalaka Prasiditam Jayantu Bhutani Shivam Mithodya Manascha Bhadram Bhajatarad Hokshaje Aveshatang no matarapya haituki Svastastu Vishvasya Kalaka Prasiditam Jayantu Bhutani Shivam Mithodya Manascha Bhadram Bhajatarad Hokshaje Aveshatang no matarapya haituki Svastastu Vishvasya Kalaka Prasiditam Jayantu Bhutani Shivam Mithodya Manascha Bhadram Bhajatarad Hokshaje Aveshatang no matarapya haituki Hare Krishna. Svastastu Vishvasya Kalaka Prasiditam Jayantu Bhutani Shivam Mithodya Manascha Bhadram Bhajatarad Hokshaje Aveshatang no matarapya haituki. Or kya? Svastastu Vishvasya Kalaka Prasiditam Jayantu Bhutani Shivam Mithodya Manascha Bhadram Bhajatarad Hokshaje Aveshato no matarapya hoituki. Maharaji's. Svastastu vishvasya kalaka prasiritam. Jayantu bhutani shivam mithoriya. Manashabhadram bhajarara rokshaje. Aveshatam no matarapya hoituki. Synonyms. Swasti, auspiciousness. Astu, let there be. Vishvasya, of the entire universe. Kalak, the envious. Almost everyone. Prasidatam, let them be pacified. Jayantu, let them consider. Bhutani, all the living entities. Shivam, auspiciousness. Mita, mutual. Diya, by their intelligence. Mana, the mind. Cha, and. Badram, calmness. Bhajatat, let it experience. Adhokshaje, in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is beyond the perception of mind, intelligence, and senses. Aveshatang, let it be absorbed. Naha, are. Mati, intelligence. Api, indeed. Ahoituki, without any motive. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sri Nrsimhadeva Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. May there be good fortune throughout the universe. May all envious persons be pacified. May all living entities become calm by practicing bhakti yoga, for by accepting devotional service they will think of each other's welfare. Therefore, let us all engage in the service of the Supreme Transcendence, Lord Sri Krishna, and always remain absorbed in thought of Him. Please repeat responsively. May there be good fortune throughout the universe. May all envious persons be pacified. May all living entities become calm by practicing bhakti yoga. For by accepting devotional service, they will think of each other's welfare. Therefore, let us all engage in the service of the Supreme Transcendence. Lord Sri Krishna, and always remain absorbed in thought of Him. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The following verse describes a Vaishnava, Vajrakalpatarubhyascha kripasandubheva paritanam bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Just like a desired tree, a Vaishnava can fulfill all the desires of everyone who takes shelter of his lotus feet. Prahlad Maharaj is a typical Vaishnava. He prays not for himself, but for all living entities, the gentle, the envious, and the mischievous. He always thought of the welfare of mischievous persons like his father, Hiranyakasipu. Prahlad Maharaj did not ask for anything for himself. Rather, he prayed for the Lord to excuse his demonic father. This is the attitude of a Vaishnava, who always thinks of the welfare of the entire universe. Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Dharma are meant for persons who are completely free of envy. Parama Niratsarana. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays in this verse, Kalaka Prasidatam. May all the envious persons be pacified. End quote. The material world is full of envious persons, but if one frees himself of envy, he becomes liberal in his social dealings and can think of others' welfare. Anyone who takes up Krishna consciousness and engages himself completely in the service of the Lord cleanses his mind of all envy. manascha badram bhajatara rokshaje. Therefore, we should pray to Lord Nrsimhadeva to sit in our hearts. We should pray, Bahir Nrsingo Hridaye Nrsinga. Let Nrsimhadev, Lord Nrsimhadev, sit in the core of my heart, killing all my bad propensities. Let my mind become clean, so that I may peacefully worship the Lord and bring peace to the entire world. End quote. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given us a very fine purport in this regard. Whenever one offers prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one always requests some benediction from him. Even pure, nishkama devotees pray for some benediction, as instructed by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Shastakam. Ainanda tunu jakinkaram patitang mam vishame bhavam buddho kripaya tavapada pankaja stitaduli sadrisham vichintaya. Quote, O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet somehow or other I have fallen to the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from the ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. End quote. In another prayer, Lord Chaitanya says, Mama janmani janmanishvare bhavatat bhaktirahoy tuki tvai. Quote, life after life, kindly let me have unalloyed love and devotion at your Lordship's lotus feet. End quote. When Prahlad Maharaj chants, Om Namo Bhagavate Nrsimhaya, he prays for a benediction from the Lord. But because he is also an exalted Vaishnava, he wants nothing for his personal sense gratification. First desire expressed in his prayer is Svastastu Vishvasya. Quote, let there be good fortune throughout the entire universe. End quote. Prahlad Maharaj thus requested the Lord to be merciful to everyone, including his father, a most envious person. According to Chanakya Pandit, there are two kinds of envious living entities. One is a snake, and the other is a man like Hiranyakasipu, who is by nature envious of everyone, even of his father or son. Hiranyakasipu was envious of his little son Prahlad, but Prahlad Maharaj asked for a benediction for the benefit of his father. Hiranyakasipu was very envious of devotees, but Prahlad wished that his father and other demons like him would give up their envious nature by the grace of the Lord and stop harassing the devotees. Kalaka proceeded tam. The difficulty is that the kala, envious living entity, is rarely pacified. One kala, the snake, can be pacified simply by mantras or by the action of a particular herb. Mantroshadi, vasha, sarpa, kalakena, nivaryate. An envious person, however, cannot be pacified by any means. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays that all envious persons may undergo a change of heart and think of the welfare of others. If the Krishna consciousness movement spreads all over the world, and if by the grace of the Krishna everyone accepts it, the thinking of envious persons will change. Everyone will think of the welfare of others. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays, Shivam mitodaya. In material activities, everyone is envious of others, but in Krishna consciousness, no one is envious of anyone else. Everyone thinks of the welfare of others. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays that everyone's mind may become gentle by being fixed at the lotus feet of Krishna. Bhajatad adhokshaje. As indicated elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam, Savaimana Krishna Padara Vindaya, and as advised by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse 65, Manmana Bhavamad Bhakta. One should constantly think of the lotus feet of Krishna, of Lord Krishna. Then one's mind will certainly be cleansed. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Materialists always think of sense gratification, but Prahlad Maharaj prays that the Lord's mercy will change their minds. They will stop thinking of sense gratification. If they think of Krishna always, everything will be all right. Some people argue that if everyone thought of Krishna in that way, the whole universe would be vacated because everyone would go back home, back to Godhead. However, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that this is impossible because the living entities are innumerable. One set of living entities is actually delivered by the Krishna consciousness movement. Another set will fill the entire universe. End of the purport. Vrindavane Ramanareti Prasiddha Bhumo Tatrapi Krishna Balarama Supadam Mule Gyanam Param Paramai Krishna Sudharma Chuttam Dandastu Deva Prabhupada Namo Namaste Sangasara Dukka Jalado Patitasya Kama Krodadi Nakramakarai Kavalikartasya Durvashana Nikaritasya Narasayasya Chaitanya Chandra Mamadehe Padavalambam Jaladara Shashivarno Gopaveshi Kishoro Sahacharagana Vrindai Kridamana Vajesho Natabara Jitave Sho Nilapitam Baradyo Jagada Janana Heto Rama Krishna Nato Asmi Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Pritanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the Sanskrit in this shloka is pretty nice for Nrsimha Chaturdashi. May everybody, may there be good fortune throughout the universe. May all envious persons be pacified. May all living entities become calm by practicing bhakti yoga, for by accepting devotional service they will think of each other's welfare. Therefore, let us always engage in the service of the Supreme Transcendence, Lord Shri Krishna, and always remain absorbed in thought of him. So, actually a Vaishnava is really kind. And Prahlad Maharaj was very kind to envious persons. The biggest envious person was his father, Hiranyakasipu, was really envious of the good fortune of Prahlad. And aside from him, there were his followers, like Shukracharya's sons, Sanda and Amarka. And they were taught to teach the kids how to be good in Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha in a demonic way. So Prahlad was wondering, how come they're doing that, And he taught the kids privately, when the teachers were not there, how to be Krishna conscious. And this is described pretty nicely in Satsvarupa Maharaj's book, Am I a Demon or a Devotee? When the followers of Prahlad Maharaj are thinking, what's going on? Am I born in a demonic family or what? And it's like moral values are being challenged, like this. So it's interesting. Prahlad Maharaj tried to challenge the status quo, which Sandra Marka was trying to be good kids of demonic families, and like that. There was Sama, Beda, Danda. Sama, make equal, That's, if somebody's scholarly, then you can argue in an equal level, like that. Sama, Beda, divide them, by giving some bribe or something like that, you divide it and rule, like that. Danda, you beat them, The Sudras simply beat them into submission, that's all. So, he was trained in that kind of diplomacy. And he said, we had heard previously that somebody was separate from the Supreme, envious of the Supreme, considering Lord Vishnu to be enemy. But now we're seeing it practically. So he had a lot of obstacles. He had a lot of obstacles that he had to overcome in the path of becoming a devotee. Prahlad had a lot of obstacles. And he thought of Nrsimhadeva always and continued on with his work. And even though the mother of Prahlad Maharaj was forced by her husband to administer food mixed with poison to the child, and it had enough to kill 100 elephants in there. A lot of poison in it, mixed. But by Nrsimhadeva's grace, Prahlad offered everything to Nrsimhadeva, and Nrsimhadeva cleaned it up. All the poison became nullified. And then they tried to put him, throw him from the top of mountains, tall mountains, but he wasn't. But Nrsimhadeva collected him and protected him. Then put him between animals, animals like being trampled by an elephant or like that. So the Lord protected him from that. And being put in a pit of snakes, where the snakes could bite you, and the snakes didn't, like that. So, and every time they were trying to kill Prahlad Maharaj, and Nrsimhadeva protected him. He meditated on Lord Nrsimhadeva, and Nrsimhadeva protected him. Basically, in Bhagavad Gita chapter 18, verse 58, it's stated that Chaitasa Sarva Durgani Mata Prasada Tarasasi. if you think about me, in any difficult situation, you will cross over all those difficulties by my grace. So, any Thakur, Gaurnitai, Radha Shamasundar, Krishna Balaram, or Nrsimhadeva, like that, when you think of the Lord, then you can cross over all difficulties by their grace. Even Lord Shiva says in Tulsi Kavacham, which is in the mode of passion, from Brahmanda Purana, and although it's separate these days, and he tells his son Skanda, whatever you want, you can get it from Tulsi. Don't doubt it, like that. So basically, she can give everything. And she's actually a limb. From Skanda Purana it says, which is really game-changing, was her service is a limb of Krishna's service. Now, everyone know that she was Priya, dear, but a limb of Krishna's service? Wait a minute. Everywhere they take care of the deities good, and Tulsi Rani gets the shaft, So, if they want Krishna to be happy, then they take care of the internal potency in a very happy way, in a very nice way. Actually, Prabhupada was saying that if you dress Radharani to look better than Krishna, then Krishna will be happy and stay. So that's our business. That's our business, to make sure the internal potency is happy. Then Krishna will always be happy with us. So it's the same thing. May all envious persons, Prahlad Maharaj is praying for the benefit of everybody. May all envious persons be pacified. It's very difficult to pacify people. There is one moralist, French moralist, that says people are not going to argue with their philosophy, but they're going to find fault and argue with yours. So love and trust means you try to bring people on their platform. Then when love and trust is established, then you can try to inculcate a little bit more. So Satyaraj Khan walked from Bengal 10 days to Puri during Rath Yatra time to see Lord Jagannath and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he asked Gauranga Mahaprabhu, how do you recognize a devotee? So Mahaprabhu mentioned that anyone who likes the chanting of Hare Krishna is the best person in a group of people. They're a Vaishnava. So there was the lowest denominator of Vaishnava. That's why devotees go out in Harinam Sankirtan. Some people may appreciate the devotees. Like in New York and other places, when devotees when the cold weather dissipates, they go back on Harinam. And they didn't stop Harinam because of the winter months, the cold winter months. And the merchants would come out, God, where have you guys been? We've been waiting for you guys. Like this. So the Harinam Sankirtan was actually good for some of the merchants, like that. Some of the merchants' lifestyle. So then the next year, Satyaraj Khan leaves Bengal and goes to Puri, walking 10 days from in the month of June to see Lord Jagannath and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he says, how do you recognize a devotee? Then Mahaprabhu quotes it. It's actually quoted in Upadeshamrita 5 by Rupa Goswami, Srila Rupa Goswami, that anyone who has taken initiation, serving the deity, offer obeisances with your head. They're a devotee. So it's like that. So then, the next year, Satyaraj Khan left Bengal and went to Puri, walking 10 days to see Lord Jagannath at Rath Yatra and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he says, how do you recognize a devotee? And Mahaprabhu says, they're not even externally aware. So in this community, when the kids are grown up and married, then the parents are out of jail. It's time to go to the Dhamma, the holy place. Now the temple is also a Dhamma. So some Vanaprasthas, they retire to the temple and they serve the deities like that, and full time, like they were in the old days before they were married. They do like that. Some go to the Dhammas. That's Mayapur, Vrindavan, Puri, wherever. And they get a house there. Even if they have to rent, they should go, Radhakund Mata distributes books in Vrindavan. And she told me that she was proud of 2 kids. And I said, 6 out of 8 are bums. It's not worth it. She had 8 kids. She laughed and she said, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that they may improve, and I'm not waiting for them. Now, one of the girls, the youngest, who was really smart, her name is Kishori. So I ran into her once in UK, and I said, is your mother going to come and visit you here in UK? And she says, all the kids know. You want to see mother? You have to go to Vrindavan. So that is a proper way. The first 10 years of life, you're available for your children and grandchildren. And the next 10 years of life, whatever the astrologers state is your likely duration of life, you can plan your life in such a way to serve Lord Krishna and the Vaishnavas. And so for the first 10 years of life, you're available. And the other 10 years of life, kiss off the whole world. You're completely incognito doing bhajan. Nirjan bhajan. It's called Nirjan bhajan. And there's nobody there. And you're doing bhajan there. And worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And they're not externally aware. They go deeper and deeper and deeper in bhajan. That's our business as devotees, to follow. And Kalak preceded them. Our idea is that compassion means that may the public become pacified. Now, they're pacified by thinking of their child who is a devotee, like that. And you try not to upset the apple cart in relationship with them, but you try to inject Krishna whenever you can. It's like once my father and mother came to visit me when I was a pujari. And so I gave them Charanamrit. What's this? Green leaf. It's an Indian mint. And they took Charanamrit. Have another glass. They like it. Have another glass. And I gave them pakoras and I gave them sweets. They're offered to the deities like that. And they took prasadam that way. It was pretty good. This community is meant for Krishna consciousness as much as possible. And Prabhupada was referring to Sayam and Prata. You do sadhana in the morning and sadhana in the evening. Then in between, you'll think of Krishna in the day. So the deities are dressed nicely so that devotees can meditate on Gaurnitai, Radha Shama Sundar, Krishna Balaram, and do their work in the daytime. And they can meditate in the daytime about the deities and come and see them in the morning and come and see them in the evening. So that's what this community is for, like that. And we have a Nrsimhadeva altar. Actually, next year, Nrsimha Chaturdashi will be on a Saturday, May 2nd. Pretty good. Now, Prabhupada never gave it. He didn't have time to work on the Sandarbhas, really, before he left. In Bhakti Sandarbha, 252.1, Anuched, Srila Jiva Goswami describes about Prahlad Maharaj in a previous birth that he was arguing with one prostitute on the Nrsimha Chaturdashi. He didn't eat and he didn't sleep. And the next birth, he became Prahlad Maharaj. Not bad, So we should try. Now, my sannyas guru mentioned we have our institutional capacity and our personal capacity. Whatever you can't get done by your institutional capacity, you can do in your personal capacity. So we have that. We're going to try to follow Prahlad Maharaj, and everybody needs it. Sometimes we get mercy by doing something once nicely. But the problem is with that is that that's very rare, Like they give some diplomas from the university, some degrees from the university to some people. But we should not think that we'll get that. That's very rare. That's given to a few people, like that. Make him an honorarium, give him a PhD degree from the university, like that. They award it. Very few people get it. Most people do it by sadhana. Sadhana iti sadhana. Your spiritual wealth is your spiritual practices. So we're taught to do sadhana, chanting Hare Krishna, associating with the devotees, and serving the deities as much as possible. then that helps us as much as possible to become a devotee by associating with people. Then, to become a better one has to go deeper in sadhana as much as possible. So this day and every day is in a sense, for those who worship Nrsimhadeva, it's more than just Nrsimha Chaturdashi. It's every day. It's because every day they're worshiping the deities. When they're worshiping the deities come in your heart and push you to give him a little bit more. Krishna's never satisfied with what you give him. He wants what's behind your back. And when you do that, he becomes more loving. So one should try to offer as much as you can. Now, in Garuda Purana, it mentions there are 6 things that give liberation for those that are dying. Ekadasi Vrata, you should increase it as much as you can. Gita, anything that is sung. All of our shastras are sung. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, ultimately they're sung. Gangambu. Gangambu is Ganges water. Tulasi Dalam, the tulsi leaf that is thrown in the mouth at the time of death. Tulsi Prasadam leaf. Vishnu Padambu. And the Charanamrit. Sri Govinda Padambojo Marano Mahadarabutam Yatapaya no Namuyanti Muyanti Yatapaya Naha. Kushakratha had translated that. And I memorized that in 1981. And it says, the liquor, it's actually the southern declension of Mukundamala, not the BBT version. Shloka 5. That the nectar, the liquor distilled from Govinda's lotus feet is most amazing. One who drinks that liquor becomes free from intoxication. One who refrains from drinking it becomes intoxicated by material illusions. I thought, well, in 1981, that's probably the best shloka I ever found for Charanamrit. So it's quite good. Vishnu Padambu and Namani, the holy name. And also, and elsewhere, in Garuda Purana, it mentions about Brahmanas, serving Brahmanas, Vaishnavas, and the cows. So these are 8 things, and we should do these incrementally in our life as much as possible, and that will liberate us. So that will help us go beyond this pale of this material body. As 7th Canto, Chapter 13 mentions, Kvedam Kalevaram, what is this body? Asesa Rajam Viroham, holding container of various diseases. So days like Ekadasi, days like Nrsimha Chaturdashi, the appearance day of the Lord, are referred to in Sharanagati by Bhaktivinoda as Madhavatiti, which is holy days which are dedicated to Lord Madhava. That will help us cross over the wretched ocean of birth and death that we have and free us up from the bodily conception of life. So to destroy the bodily conception of life, may everybody become peaceful. Svastastu Vishvasya, may everybody become auspicious. Kalak prasidatam, and the envious will become pacified. Dayantu Bhutani Shivam Mitodiya. In this way they'll think, if they become pacified, they'll start thinking of each other's welfare. Manascha Bhatram Bhajatar Adokshache, may their minds be auspicious. Bhajatar Adokshache, may they engage in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By thinking of that service that you have to do for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you're asked to do, or you are talented in that way to do it. You're absorbed in it, like that. Manascha Bhadram Bhajatar Adokshache. Actually, Prabhupada gave us so much service to do, like that. Actually, chanting is the best service, but we don't have taste for chanting. And we have youth, passionate energy. So we have so much service to do. In Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhava, it was mentioned about it, that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wanted the devotees to chant 1 lakh. That's a lot of japa. It's like 8 hours of work. Indra Prabhu did the math. You take 100,000 names, and you divide it by 16 syllables, divided by 108. And it becomes like 57.82, like that, almost 58. Then I asked Bhaktirupa, now how did the idea of 64 rounds come? 16 rounds is called a bhara, filling up. So it was very interesting. In Vyas Puja offering, Mukunda Maharaj writes that in his youth he remembered walking with Prabhupada in the morning. And Prabhupada looked at him and said, you should do 64. And he thought, my God, I have a job. I have in the welfare office in New York, and how am I going to do that? He didn't say yes. He didn't say no. He's only thinking, how? So about 30 seconds later, Prabhupada goes, you should do 32. And he went, whew. Well, at least he made it half. Yeah, I might be able to figure out how to do that. He didn't say yes. He didn't say no. He's only thinking, how? So 30 seconds later, Prabhupada said, you must do 16. Then he said, I understood that 16 was the minimum that we should do. Now, he's a writer. So I bumped into him. He's 70 years old in Australia, and he's a writer. So I asked him, how do you write and chant 1 lakh? And he said, I think it's going to have to be something you, as a goal, you push yourself to that. So the Supreme Lord, doesn't matter who he is, he gives himself to his devotees. You give yourself to the deities, and the deities in turn will give themselves to you. And any deity, Gaurnitai, Radhesham, Krishna Balaram, Nrsimhadev, Giriraj, Tulsi Rani, any deity, you offer them love and affection, they give themselves to you. It's just their nature. They do like that. Now they're also pushing us to chant a lot more than we're normally able to do. And we don't have taste. And it's shocking. They push us like anything. They want us to chant a lot more. We can offer them love. We can worship them. And they'll be silent about that. You say, God, I have a lot of japa to chant, for you. So, should we minimize your worship? They're silent about that. Because the worship is how we make our relationship with them, How we make a relationship with them. So they want us to chant and worship them. You can't compromise it. They want you to worship them and think of them and chant their names and like that. And chant at the same time too. It's tough. It's tough to manage it. The more you love them, the more they give themselves to you. And it's described in Bhagavatam, Canto 3, chapter 25, verse number 36, where it glorifies, Kapila Dev glorifies that my devotees always like to see myself shining in the morning time. And they speak sweet words which touch me, like that. They speak sweet words which touch me. Hi, how are you? You look really sweet today, like that. And they actually are touched by that, by these offerings of love by their devotees. And the Supreme Lord, and Prabhupada was mentioned in the purport, the Supreme Lord talks to his devotee, and the devotee answers back. It was very interesting in Denver in 1975. He asked the pujaris, so how is Krishna? And the pujari looked at Prabhupada like, how are we supposed to know? And he goes, you're the pujari! You should know! Pujari should know. The pujari should know. It's a very interesting story that Burijan tells about Vrindavan. One prostitute wanted to do a bandara, feast on the disappearance day of her father. She gave a donation to the temple, and the temple offered to the deities and fed the devotees. And, babas, they just take, somebody donated it, let's just eat it. So they ate it, and all the men dropped their semen that night. Now, one guy drops, that's one thing, but 50 guys. So the head Mahanta asked the pujaris, hey, ask the Lord, how come it happened? The Lord told the pujari, look, I'm a Papa Vida. I can drink water from the urinal and purify that. I can eat everything. It doesn't mean you can. Burijan tells that story. It happened in Vrindavan. It's pretty interesting. It means that we can offer so many things to Krishna. It doesn't mean that that's what we should take. We should take that. We have to be very conscious about it as much as possible to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So days like Ekadasi, we did that, and days like Nrsimha Chaturdashi, the Appearance Day of the Lord, purify the devotee as much as possible. The material body of the devotee, it purifies them. So one should do Dridhavrata, intense vows. And, we're in Ayaram Gayaram. Rama's coming, Rama's gone. So Wednesday is going to be tough. But if you do Kirtan, you do pretty good. Just like on Saturday, we had nice Kirtan. We had nice Kirtan all night long going on. So that's pretty good. In the 1970s, you're breaking your rear, cooking for some festival, and you're stocking up your japa. So we had unwritten rules for late night japa after 10 p.m. Don't stop moving. Don't stop chanting. Don't sit down. As soon as you sit down, stop chanting, stop moving, finished. But so you should try to move as much as possible. And it was very interesting is that one old Sanskrit Pandit, retired Sanskrit Pandit, he's 92. He's retired principal of Woodcall University, Sanskrit department. So he told me, when I asked him, I said, one of the 5 limbs of Kartik is all-night vigil, and no one's doing that. So he went back in time and described it. He told me, you're not counting the people at 11 o'clock. No, you count the people at 2 a.m. They'll stay with you and they'll be the best people for your festival. So we should stay at least to midnight, or like that, as much as possible. At least to midnight or longer, and do Kirtan. And after 10 p.m., when it's tough, when people start to snooze, then 6 tal. You do 6 tal Kirtan. And some of the boys are very expert, and they do 6 tal Kirtan, and that's dancing music. 6 tal Kirtan is dancing music. It really is. And it's really good. The more you do Kirtan, the more you chant the glories of the Lord on Ekadasi or on the Appearance Day of the Supreme Lord, you become purified of all sinful activities by chanting the holy name. So that's really what this community is for, to try to dedicate people to chant the holy name as much as possible and think of the deities as much as possible and worship them and like that, and offer yourself to them as much as possible and chant their holy names and eat their prasadam as much as possible and drink their charanamrit as much as possible. And then you'll become purified. And at the end of this life, then Krishna will steal you and take you back to his abode. It's interesting. And whatever that helps us, pushes us to go back to Krishna's abode, we should do as a priority. So it's very interesting. From Garuda Purana, it mentions there are 6 things for liberation. Other slokas, it mentions 2 more. So add it up. Okay, look, there's 8. And we should incrementally do that in our life as much as possible. And that will purify us. Because sometimes we have up and down mentality. We go sometimes good, sometimes bad. So, therefore, I said that Krishna will accept it because of Tulsi, not because of us. We offer stuff with Tulsi leaves like that. And what was interesting was in Hare Bhakti Vilas, chapter 7, verse 264, it says, if for some reason you don't have a Tulsi leaf, you can touch a Tulsi stick as an offering of Tulsi or invoke her name. And I thought, wow, you don't even have to have her in your hand to offer her to Krishna. Sometimes you're changing water cups or something, you just don't have a Tulsi leaf. Some boga comes, and you just don't have a Tulsi leaf to offer the Supreme Lord. But you can invoke her name. It's really interesting. You don't have to have her in your hand. Krishna is everywhere, and so is Tulsi. Tulsi is everywhere also. That's nice. It's nice for us. We can offer her at any time and associate with her at any time. Now, it was very interesting. Once I was in London, and I got up in the middle of the night, as usual, to pass urine or something like that, you know. It was 11:45. And she came in the heart. She said, "You should come and see me." And I said, "But Mother, it is 20 minutes of 12. How am I supposed to see you?" She goes, "Well, if my greenhouse is unlocked, come and see me," you know. And it was. It was. So one can see, actually. And then Hare Bhaktivedanta says that if you see Tulsi, when you wake up in the morning, you're freed of all sins. This means that if you live in a very small flat, one-room flat, you can sleep with your Tulsi. It's okay. And if you see Tulsi in the morning, you're free from all sins. It's interesting. Hare Krishna. So may everybody have a really nice festival today, worshiping the Supreme Lord. Next year, we'll have a lot more fun because it's going to happen on a Saturday. The Nrsimha Chaturdashi is going to happen on a Saturday. Well, we'll have a lot more fun. And also, here, what's nice about here is because we have young kids that have a lot of energy, and they can do a lot of nice kirtan, probably better than us. So let them do it. Let them do nice kirtan, you know, play harmonium, bang a drum, you know, play kartals. It's really good. You know, 6 tal takes a lot of energy. It is not for an old person to do. You know, 6 tal is not for old persons to do, but it's definitely for a young person. It's not a problem, and they do it. If a 6 tal means dancing music, it's definitely dancing. So from 10 o'clock on, if you do 6 tal, it's good. It's dancing, moving. Don't stop moving. Don't stop chanting. Don't sit down. It's a good thing. If you sit down, you make sure you got somebody with you next to you that pushes you. Like that. Hey, or bumps you or something like that, you know. If you have to sit down. It's dangerous. Sitting down is dangerous. One should keep moving as much as possible. If you sit down in the middle of the night, finished. So it's actually really interesting. This is called Dridhavrata. Firm vows. It was interesting about lack of firm faith. Jayadvaita Maharaj was joking once. He says, "Today's Ekadasi. Maybe I should do Nirjal. But by 8 o'clock in the morning, you know, your stomach is growling. He goes, maybe I should eat fruits. Fast half a day. But if the Pujari comes out with those Ekadasi preparations, I don't know what I'm going to do." In 7th Canto, chapter 15, verse 23, Asankalpachayata kaman. By making plans with determination, you give up lusty desires. So, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Tika, commentary on that shloka, says, just like in Ekadasi, you offer Krishna so many preparations, but if you're determined to fast, then those preparations don't sway your mind like that. In the same way, he says, the opposite sex is everywhere. If you're determined not to live with them, it's just as good. Anyway, this community is really nice, and when the children are grown up and have gotten married, then you're out of jail. You know, if you have an unmarried daughter, it's called a gilded jail. One Sanskrit pundit in London told me that his daughter is 5, and I go, Kartik, you're in jail for 20 more years until your daughter gets married. It's called a gilded jail. If you have female children, it's called a gilded jail. It's kind of a catch-22. They say that a female child will take care of their parents in old age better than a male child will. Yet, a female child is really expensive. Bhaktivedanta Purna Maharaj was lecturing to the brahmacharis. He said, lesson number 1, women are more expensive than men. Lesson number 2, if you can't pay, don't get involved. And I thought, wait a second, so many people get involved. They got to get married. They need a good wife. They need a husband. They need somebody. So I put lesson number 3. If you choose to get involved, read all the fine print before you sign the contract. It's not a word, marriage. It's a sentence, a life sentence. You're in jail for 40 years. And make sure you like your jailmate. If you get along with your jailmate, no problem. Then also the joke is that he likes Krishna, she likes Krishna. Doesn't mean they're going to like each other. Compatibility is really a big thing. Yet, there's also a push. Just like, women have to get married by 35. So there was a Bengali devotee. He was a fisher boy before he became a bhakta. And he married a girl from Bombay that was a master of business administration. Fatty lady. It means it was her last chance. She just grabbed somebody. So I told Vibhu Chaitanya, my godbrother in Vrindavan, you should say something to him. I'm not going to say nothing. Why? He'll suffer. And then Bhubaneswar walked in and he goes, relax, they deserve each other. I chilled out. Okay. She ended up having a massive heart attack on Jamshedpur railway station. He got married to somebody else. Then, a few days after his marriage, we were undressing Krishna Balaram in Vrindavan before bathing them. And I asked him, how's it going? And he went, and then I thought, Krishna Balaram arranged everything, just to keep you humble. So it's kind of sweet, And it's not easy to do everything in this world. But we should, it was very interesting. Bhavatarani, Prabhupada's god sister, Prabhupada's sister and god sister both. In 1980, when she left her body in Mayapur, then Bhavananda and Jayapataka glorified her and said that, she was saying, look, my father married me to a meat eater, womanizer, drunkard. This is my karma. What am I supposed to do now? So Prabhupada said that, you remember our Radha Govinda deities you worshipped in our childhood. Just offer them everything and offer your obeisances to them and dedicate everything to them. And they will fix everything up. So gradually, over the years, by her faithfulness, by her chastity, by her kindness, she changed the heart of her husband. It was described toward the end of her life, he was practically worshiping her. Her mentality was really good, that good. So she changed the heart of her husband by faithfulness. And so that was very nice. That was good that Nrsimha did like that. So basically, that's what people have to do, They have to change the heart of your spouse by love and affection. Change the heart and develop something good. So, Hare Krishna. So, we're going to have an Abhishek pretty quick. I think it's going to be 9:30. Next year, I was telling Mukha, I said, Lord Nrsimhadeva appeared in the evening. So, why did they do the yajna in the morning and have the Abhishek in the evening? Is, yeah, could do that. That may happen next year. We'll see. We'll believe it when we see it. Hare Krishna. Hey, where's the mic? There's a hand mic somewhere. Hey, where's the portable mic? Portable mic. He's got it.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Today sounds like a good day for vows.
Whoa.
No?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I would like to make a vow today. I'm not going to tell you the vow, but could you give me some tips on keeping a vow?
Yeah, vows are good to keep.
Yeah, how do I do that?
Huh?
Encourage me, give me some guidelines, and since today is a good day to make a vow, give me some tips if you would, how to keep the vow.
How do you keep a vow? Vows should be doable. There's realistic, practical, and verifiable. Vows should be realistic. It may be mathematically correct. I'll give you an example. Chanting a lot. It may be mathematically possible. Have you ever done it? That's practical. Have you ever done it? Then verifiable means the other people know you better than you. You need their help to do it. So vows should be practical, realistic, practical, and verifiable, so that you're successful in your vows, in making vows. Today is a good day to make a vow, but the thing about it is, the Appearance Day of the Supreme Lord is always good to make a vow, but it's more than just the Appearance Day of the Lord. Vaishnavas worship the Supreme Lord every day. So for a devotee Nrsimha Day, every day is Nrsimha Chaturdashi in that sense. You offer. So, when's a good day to do your vows? Shubh Tithis, auspicious times, auspicious times to make a vow. See, the thing is this, is sankalpa, making a vow. What are you going to do? You're going to make a vow in front of the deities? It is better to incrementally do a vow like that. Because if you say it in front of Krishna, be careful, like that. It was described previously that people would never lie in front of the deity. They would bring it. Two people that are having some debate, and they would bring it, or some quarrel or something that had to be resolved. They would bring it in front of the deity. People would never lie in front of the deity. Nowadays, everybody does, In Vrindavan, I remember it was very funny. Some years ago, must have been, 93 something. And I stumbled across some guy in Vrindavan that was selling thick gur water, okay? Passing it off as honey. He put some honeybee comb in there with some few dead bees and like that. He said it was honey. And everybody was completely, ignoring the guy. So I brought him in front of my deities. I'm going to use this for Abhishek. Is it honey? Oh yeah, in front of Krishna, they're ready to lie. Sure, So one has to be really careful. Vows, if you're going to take it in front of Krishna, make sure you can do it, like that. Maybe incrementally you have to set yourself up for your vow. Take half of the vow, a quarter of the vow. Finish that, get that done. Then think about more, So it has to be real. Just because it's mathematically possible, that's called realistic. In Sampradaya, it's there. It's realistic. Practical. Have you ever done it before? And verifiable. You need other people on board to help you get it there. So maybe incrementally take a bits and pieces of your vow and do it. When you can get that done, then maybe you can accept more. Or kya?
Yes, Maharaj, I had a question. I'm over here. Well, it's actually a little of a statement too. You were talking about kind of being in jail if you have children and a wife and things like that.
Yeah.
But I was
a jailmate means make sure you like your spouse.
Right. I understood that. And so what I was wanting to bring up is that Prabhupada always encouraged the devotees to get together on the fact that they had Krishna as the center, and then their home became like Vaikuntha, and also that by chanting so many rounds before you had a child, you actually brought auspiciousness into your home. It was very interesting about that. I asked Malati Mata in Vrindavan about that. He goes, I know so many 50-rounders, children that were born at 50 rounds, that didn't become a devotee, and so many accidents that were not 50 rounds that became devotees. That was an interesting point that she made. That was interesting. The consciousness of the devotee, whether the daughter or son becomes a devotee or not, it seems like if they're in Krishna consciousness and they're engaging in devotional service, they're not attached to the results of their service, but they're very blissfully engaged in that service. So it seems to me that it wouldn't be really a jail sentence, but it would
You're thinking like that, but the Shastra says another thing. Okay. Just like Prabhupada, you have to also consider that Prabhupada said other stuff to other people. Maybe he didn't say it to women, but he did say it to men, that they should become renunciates, they should like that. Like when Tamal Krishna Maharaj took sannyas, he asked the ladies, and they said no. But when he asked the other sannyasis, they said yes. So it's like that. You follow?
Yeah, just like in a practical experience, though, like my husband and I were engaged in devotional service, so I never look over at him and say I'm with my cellmate. I always think, oh, this person, I'm engaging in so much devotional service every day, it becomes sweeter and sweeter, and I love him more and more, and I feel closer to Prabhupada because of his association, and I feel enlivened every day. I don't.
Yeah,
feel
it's all right. It's okay. It's
self.
okay for a lady to consider that. To consider.
But it's a
the man
reality,
should consider, you can't deny that a man thinks that sometimes we're in jail.
It just seems due to the bodily conception of life he would think that way.
Look in the Shastra. Look at 8th Canto, chapter 22, verse 9. Listen to that class. Prabhupada says, because in the Sanskrit, Bali Maharaj is quoting Prahlad Maharaj, which was more influential in his character development than his father Virochana was. So he says, Kim rikta harai svajanakatasyu. What are the use of the relatives? They're simply plunderers. Steal all the money could be used for Krishna. Prabhupada in the lecture says, if a burglar comes, you call the police. If your spouse and child comes, this is love.
But if you're in devotional service, you're not plundering. You're actually helping. You're a helpmate. You're protection of the fort, the wife is, and helps the husband not...
Yeah, but legal or illegal, both are harassment. Legal or illegal, it's hell. Okay, when you have a problem, it's called hell. When other people know about it, it's called hell on wheels.
And also, Maharaj, just one other thing about... you were
like
saying...
another, it's very interesting is that Vidyavali, Bali Maharaj's wife, was very chaste and proper. But she was in anxiety, and Brahma was going to speak to Vamandev, but he let her speak. And she said, my dear Lord, my husband was so puffed up, he thought he was the controller of the universe. By taking away all his opulence, he is made of nothing but your service. So he may be released, which is French for, please, give me my husband back, I want to go home. So her chastity was not in question. But it says, Kim Jaya Samshriti Heta Bhutaya. What is the use of my wife who gives birth? She's the cause of all my entanglement. It's right there in the Sanskrit. Kim Jaya Samshriti Heta Bhutaya. Martyasya Gehai Kimihayu Shavaya. For those that are attached to family, society, friendship, and love, these things waste the duration of life. It's there in the Sanskrit. It's there in the Sanskrit. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhakti Vishnama Maharaj ki jai.
start Kirtan? Are there mantras or what? I don't know the program. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutare Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Krishna Prasthaya Bhutare Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deva Gauravani Bhattarine Nirvisesa Punyavani Satyakari Sataiva Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shivasari Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shivasari Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shivasari Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shivasari Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna Krishna, Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Gor Bimalandi, Singh Bhagavan ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Namaste Nrsimhadeva, Namaste Nrsimhadeva. Prahlad Shiva Shankara Sila Sankara Hare. Eka Nrsimha Bharata Nrsimha. Eka Nrsimha Bharata Nrsimha. Yasa Yasa Yamita Nrsimha. Yasa Yasa Yamita Nrsimha. Hare Nrsimha Hare Nrsimha. Hare Nrsimha Hare Nrsimha. Nrsimha Madhim Karunam Prapade. Nrsimha Madhim Karunam Prapade. Savatara Samarare Nasam Abhutta Singha. Sarita Hiranyakashipu Kanadindam Eka Vihita Harahari Vihita Jaya Vihita Hare Jaya Vihita Hare Jaya Vihita Hare. Hare